Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Can we start with the biggest news in your world today? And that is William Nylander, 8 years, $92 million, whatever it works out to. 8 years, 11.5 per season. They got it done. Your thoughts on this?
Well, kudos to William Nylander for not signing earlier, gambling on himself, and then coming out with a fantastic season. So he kind of put the Maple Leafs in a tough spot. If they want to keep him, he's emerging as, one of the top players in the league. So they had to pay him. So you like to see guys gamble on themselves and win. There's a lot of money in just a few guys on the Maple Leafs, and we've seen that hasn't worked for them in the past. We'll see if that changes this year with Brad Treliving as the general manager. They're on a pretty good roll right now, and they've got San Jose tomorrow. So the way things are going for the Sharks, that's probably going to be a Leafs win.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Who would you pick of these four coaches to coach your team? Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, Bill Belichick, or Jim Harbaugh? My vote's Harbaugh, but we talked about this last week. He seems to be relating real well to the younger players at Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's Harbaugh for me in a runaway. But I think, each one of them has some advantages.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Happy Tuesday, right? Yeah, January 9th. Good to be here in this business. It's good to be anywhere. We're live on television, Game Plus, nationwide across Canada and in 31 U.S. states. I always enjoy when we get these messages come in on the Sober Carpenter text line from the Americans. Oh, the wind is picking up. You see it? You see it? Oh, it could be a weather day. Let's bring the Moose in. He's in Toronto, where they're about to call in the National Guard. I'm joking on that, although maybe they're not. Moose, give the weather report before we get to sports, if you don't mind, from the T-Dot.
Yeah, it's, we'll call it a blizzard. It is. It's a storm. It's snowing. It's sticking to the roads a little bit. But I will say this, it's +2, okay? +2, snowing, little sticking to the road, and they're shutting the schools down, telling people not to go into work, stay home today. So they may call in the National Guard if things get much worse than this. I mean, if it dips below 0, we might be in trouble.
It's a different time, and I got to be honest with you. I was surfing social media this morning and seeing reports of the Kansas City-Miami NFL game this weekend may be moved, they're talking about it, to Indianapolis. And this is why I don't understand. Your credibility in this business is all you have. It's one of the biggest things my dad taught me when I was a kid, and that is your word is the last thing you have left, because once that's gone, you got nothing. And I'm sitting there thinking, thank God I'm in South Florida where, aside from a little bit of wind, we're good most of the time. I'm like, I don't have to travel, and I'm just grateful for that. And I'm thinking the poor people that are thinking about that, there'll be a lot of people from here thinking of going to Kansas City for the game. And I'm seeing reports where the weather, they're talking about moving it. It's only Tuesday. I don't know how they could tell this far out. But you better be credible when you're giving reports about stuff like this, is all that I'm saying. And I feel like people don't take this as seriously as I do, but people haven't dedicated their entire life to the media like I have as well, so I understand it. But anyways, coming up on the program today, I'm excited about the guest, Jason Ripplinger, very long-time friend of mine, the general manager of the Moose Jaw Warriors. They're in the news. Very exciting time in the Dub. And Nolan Thiessen will join us, the brand new CEO of Curling Canada. And we've got a lot to get to with him, and it's juicy. So those are the guests. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan, and we'll go from there. Again, if anything tickles your fancy as we roll, 902-518-3033 is the number to text for Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beers. Ask for them by name at your local beer, wine, and spirit store. You can also write in on YouTube as well. We encourage as many comments from our streaming audience as possible. But this is where I'm going to start, and I don't know that a lot of people have this on their radar, although a lot of people do. The Anaheim Ducks have traded defenseman Jamie Drysdale and a second-round pick in 2025 to the Philadelphia Flyers for high-scoring college left winger Cutter Gauthier. The 21-year-old Drysdale was 6th overall in the 2020 draft by the Ducks. Gauthier, meanwhile, led Team USA to the gold medal at the just-completed World Junior Championship, tying for the tournament lead with 12 points, scored the game winner in the third period of the semifinal for the Americans, and he's also got 23 points in 17 games for Boston College. Where this gets interesting and why I'm bringing it up, if you don't know, the Philly Flyers have been unable to sign Cutter Gauthier, so they traded their top prospect for a young defenseman with 123 games of NHL experience and ample room to grow. Now, we talked about this in the morning meeting. You and Clark, I forget, and it's sometimes how young you are. I think Clark was born, it wasn't Lindros's draft year, but shortly after. Clark was born in 91, and you weren't hatched that much before that. So you probably don't remember the Eric Lindros saga. But Lindros is the same age as me, so we were all following it, and he wouldn't go to Quebec. Wouldn't go. Now, there's an urban legend, a rumor as to why Lindros didn't want to go to Quebec. And if it's true, if everybody knew what that was, and I'm not going to say what it is, not my place, nobody else has reported it. But again, everybody's tarring and feathering Cutter Gauthier that he wouldn't even return messages of the Philadelphia Flyers. They wanted to talk to him at the World Juniors. He wouldn't even talk to them at all. So whatever, I guess what I'm saying is between spitting chicklets and missing curfew and all of what you're probably seeing in Canada for coverage, I'm like, whoa, this is 1,000 times the coverage that Lindros got, because on that draft day, it was like, he ain't going to Quebec, so we're going to trade him to Philly, and Bob's your uncle. And although that always did follow Lindros around, he went on to a Hall of Fame career. I don't know that that really stuck with him in a negative way. Maybe this is just this generation's version of that. But what's your take on the Cutter Gauthier situation?
Yeah, it didn't stick with Lindros. But the only thing that sticks is you see fans that didn't like Eric Lindros or didn't like Philadelphia say, hey, look what happened with Forsberg and the Nordique/Avalanche. Went on to win the Stanley Cup a couple of times and have success. The difference between the two situations, and I've seen this too posted, is Lindros at least let them know at the draft and had the conversation. Gauthier didn't. He let Philadelphia know that he wanted to play there, and he told them he wanted, and now he's flipped his tune. So something's changed, and that's, I think, leaves a sour taste in their mouths. It is tough, but I like the way everybody's handled it. Kid wants to go to Anaheim, great. They got a lot of young talent now, especially down the middle. And for Philadelphia, with John Tortorella and Keith Jones and everybody who's talked on this saying, hey, look, you don't want to be here. We don't want you here. We don't want to talk about you. And kind of turning him into public enemy number one, which is going to make for some great TV when Anaheim rolls into Philadelphia to see what kind of reaction he's going to have. So I think everybody's handling it okay, and we just don't see these situations very often.
Well, that's why I said a lot why my stress level's low. I surf the social media, then I put it down. I don't usually go into the comments because they're just dumb. A lot of what people are posting from the media accounts is dumb. Don't even get me going on the comments. So, yeah, it'll be fun when Cutter Gauthier rolls in there, you're right, into Philly, but it's kind of like, can we move on? Now, an interesting point here, because a very, large segment of our audience is junior hockey folk across Western Canada, as a matter of fact, all across Canada. So Glenn Erickson, you know him, in Medicine Hat, writes in, he says, I've heard from some junior hockey general managers that players don't try out anymore. Many kids and parents pretty much decide where the player wants to play. It's a sign of the times. That's something that we may be able to drag out of Jason Ripplinger when he joins us from Moose Jaw here later on this hour on the Warriors and all the picks that they gave up, because it's very similar to what's going on here in college. Because I'm around these college football guys all the time and the high school football guys. Darren, times have changed, as Glenn says, and with the transfer portal thing. A college would rather take a kid from another college because he's proven. Part of why the transfer portal will happen in the first place. The kid's proven. We know he's a player. He's been able to get through at least 1, 2, 3 years of school versus why would we go recruit? Because so many of these recruits aren't panning out. See what I'm saying? It's like the draft picks in junior hockey or even the NHL. Smaller number than ever before are turning into players after you draft them. So why not trade for the sure thing, like a Matthew Savoy, like a Jared Goff, or Matthew Stafford, however you want to look at it. Doesn't matter the league because the picks and the recruits are so unproven. Let's trade the draft picks and get the proven guy. And I wonder if that's what went into the thinking of the Moose Jaw Warriors. But anyways, that's our take. It is what it is. And in the case of Cutter Gauthier, I'm like Torts. I don't know him from a hole in the ground either. So let's move on. To the games last night, point two, Elias Pedersen and Nils Hoglander each scored twice. Thatcher Demko made 39 saves, and the Vancouver Canucks, ho, 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 defeated the New York Rangers 6-3 on Monday night. I got to stop eating granola bars just before I go to the air. I am addicted to these things.
Oh, no.
I love those energy bars, granola bars, whatever. I love them. But then they get caught in my throat. You'd think I'd be smarter about that. After missing the playoffs for 3 straight seasons, the improved Canucks lead the Pacific Division with a 26-11-3 record, and the Rangers lead the Metropolitan Division. So it was a battle of first-place teams last night. And before I move on to the other games, I get a kick out of this. I woke up this morning to a text from Jeff, our hotelier friend from the Stars to the Stars. He goes, when's the last time 2 Canadian teams were top 2 in the NHL? To our U.S. audience, it's a big deal to Canadians to be number 1 in the NHL. And I get it. They should be excited. I wrote Jeff back. You know him because you stayed at his place. I said, I hope that's a rhetorical question because I don't know when's the last time the top 2 teams in the NHL were from Canada. And I'm smiling because Paul Bisson at Biznasty tweeted last night that this will be the legitimate best shot at Canada winning the Stanley Cup with the Jets, Oilers, Canucks, and Leafs all being contenders. Been retweeted a million times. There's a gratuitous post from Biznasty. When you say something like that, he knew that everybody would go off. What do you think the chances, Mark? Maybe that would be a good poll question. That Canada wins. Scale of 1 to 10 or percentage. What are the chances that the Lord Stanley comes to Canada for the first time since 1993 this spring?
I'm with Biz. I think it's the best chance we're going to have. And, you know, let me just say a little prayer that 2 Canadian teams in the West don't meet each other in the first round of the playoffs and knock one of them out. Let's spread it out a little bit so we can have the Canadian teams move a little deeper in the playoffs, okay? We don't need the Oilers and Jets meeting in round 1 or the Oilers and Canucks or whatever it can end up being. But, no, it's a great opportunity, especially – you know, if you can populate 3 of the 8 playoff teams in the West with Canadians, I think we're going to have a pretty good shot. And the Leafs are the Leafs. We'll see what they end up doing. But it's going to be a fun rest of the year.
I might add that we are Atlanta's NHL show on WQEE Radio. And Ryan O'Radio writes in one word, windy. Is it ever, man? I'm just hoping that my props don't fall over. That's why I changed the configuration here out on the line A to kind of block me from the wind. Yeah, that's the worst we got to worry about today. John Ohm in Winnipeg writes in. He says, minus 30 in Winnipeg. LOL. Yeah, I'd rather have this. I'll take the wind. Ryan in Toronto says, here we go, Rod Squad. It's going to be another great show. Carlos in Indianapolis writes in and says, I vaguely recall a time when they would play football games in all sorts of rough weather. Yeah, I know. Again, it's only Tuesday. I feel like we got to wait a few days before we make a decision on whether they're going to move this game. What do you think the NFL needs to know by Friday at the absolute latest? Do you think,
yeah,
you think they're going to move this game?
Say Thursday or Friday. It has to be bad. Like, you know, you still have to remember teams have open roof or no roof stadiums. They play in cold weather. There's going to be snow at times, and that's just what it is. If you know well in advance that there's a guarantee it's going to be snow and really unplayable conditions and you can move the game and give some notice, that's totally fine. But for teams like Kansas City or Green Bay or Buffalo That's a big home field advantage for them, and part of why they play where they do and have open stadiums. I think that's part of the game. So we don't want to lose that at the same time. So yeah, I don't think they'll move.
Got a viewer writing in T from the 203. That's his handle. T from the 203. He says, "You, Florida Rod, that's Florida. Checking in from Fort Lauderdale." Thank you, T from the 203. Stick around for a while. Make yourself at home. There weren't a lot of NHL games Monday night. In St. Paul, Minnesota, Matt Murray stopped 23 shots for the shutty. Dallas scored 2 shorthanded goals to snap a 3-game losing streak. They beat Minnesota 4-0. In Philadelphia, Jenny Malkin had a goal and a helper to lead Pittsburgh to a 4-1 win over the Flyers in a scrappy game. And in Denver, Valerie Nichushkin scored the only goal in the shootout, and Colorado won for the 5th time in 6 games, beating Boston 4-3. I didn't play Bet Regal breakaway bets with you yesterday. I did it after you left, but the only game I had wrong was... There's only one game I had wrong. I had Colorado right, had Pittsburgh right, had Dallas right, had them all. Oh, Vancouver, I had that one wrong. I don't know why. Bias right here. Bias. Why? I just can't buy into Vancouver winning on the road, especially in New York. Point 3, Jim Harbaugh raised the championship trophy as gold and white confetti sprayed over his team, and "We Are the Champions" blared over the stadium at Houston's Energy Stadium. 9 years after he took over at Michigan, Harbaugh delivered on the lofty expectations he brought with him to his beloved alma mater. Blake Corum ran for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns, in Michigan trounced number 2 Washington 34-13 Monday night. And we're going to move on. You can talk about that later if you want. We're just pressed for time here. I'm just going to throw this out. I want people to munch on it in the commercial break. Today's poll question for our friends at Key Auto Group, which, by the way, Key Auto Group is driven by safety. Experience peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. Visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. We're coming up on the best football weekend of the year for NFL fans, and that is Wild Card Weekend, because there are 6 games. And our poll question is, which of the AFC Wild Card games will end in an upset? Browns at Texans, Dolphins at Chiefs, Steelers at Bills, or none? And I'll tell you right now, I voted none will end in an upset. There is a ton of CFL news to get to, more NHL, and hopefully we don't blow away in this break. We'll be right back. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now. stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The RP show rolls on, coming across your television screen, your radio speakers, your smartphone, whatever the heck it may be. I want to remind you that the Telemiracle Online 50/50 is live now, everybody. You can buy your tickets at telemiracle5050.com, and trust me, I don't ask for much. I don't. But I will ask you, Saskatchewan viewers, which is our #1 region for viewership, so please go to telemiracle5050.com and purchase your tickets. You just got to be 18 years of age or over. I say Saskatchewan only because that's where the only place you can be to buy the tickets is Saskatchewan. Be selling them until February 23rd. As you know, half the pot goes to the winner. All proceeds to Telemiracle 48, supporting Saskatchewan's charity. Visit telemiracle.com to learn how the Kinsman Foundation is helping people every day in Saskatchewan. Okay, let's bring the Moose back in. Just checking in from the audience. Jen from the Four Seasons writes in and she says, "Good morning, everyone. Congrats to Michigan." And she says, "My upset game would be the Packers knocking out the Cowboys." Now, she's skipping ahead a little bit because the poll question is which AFC game will be an upset. And my vote is none, as I said. But there's always at least one. It's like quarterfinal day at the World Juniors. There's always one upset. Could it be in the AFC? Could it be the NFC? Could it be both? Again, I've said none this weekend. But what are you voting for?
I'll vote on the Dolphins to upset the Chiefs.
Ooh.
If there's going to be an upset. If there's 1 year where the Chiefs maybe have taken a step back and we're not sure what they have, this might be the year. And the Dolphins still have the ability to get a good game plan together. The one factor, though, might be the weather. That might play against the Dolphins this week.
You know, a couple things rattling through my mind. The gym that I go to, Johnny O's, the owner, Johnny O, is very excited to have Travis Kelce back here this summer. I mean, I just joined it about a month ago. I guess Travis Kelce's been going there every winter for at least 5-6 years training there. And the word was that Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs, said Travis Kelce didn't want to play in Sunday's finale, even though he was 16 yards away from 1,000. Johnny O doesn't believe it. And I'm like, here's me again, believing what I hear, one team president said to me one time, everybody lies. Everybody lies. And I'm thinking, well, I don't think everybody lies, but do you see now why I am so bloody cynical with what I hear just in sports? News, forget it. Forget it. News, I don't even watch the news. But sports, Andy Reid said Travis Kelce didn't want to play, so I believed him. Boys lie. You believe Andy Reid that Travis Kelce didn't want to play, or do you think he's pulling our leg?
I believe Andy Reid because I think that's a championship locker room and a championship coach, and he wouldn't throw Travis Kelce under the bus like that. He knows Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's got a podcast. He's got social media platforms. If there was ever an issue, and if he sat Travis Kelce and Kelce wanted to play, that would have come out by now. So, no, I believe the coach this time.
Okay.
But maybe I'm a sucker.
I'm not going down this road. Oh
no. You started
it, Rod.
I think I am a sucker. I was out at that watching the college football playoff the other week, and you know who I was out with, and we're talking about the business of sport, and I'm still a little innocent. I like to believe that there's rainbows and a pot of gold at the end of it, and believe that coaches are being honest at the podium. And you know what? I probably am the sucker in this situation.
I think you are. That's why I predict that this segment is going to get spicy. By the way, Jason Ripplinger coming up next segment for the junior hockey fans, of which we are. And then an hour or two, Nolan Thiessen, the CEO, the brand new CEO of Curling Canada. But the CFL winter meetings are on in Nashville, and I've been following them. I don't find it particularly exciting what they're talking about. So this morning I did a CFL news search. Do you know what that is, people? I went to google.ca, typed in CFL, clicked news, and the top article that came up was this. From the Daily Hive, former BC Lions quarterback Nathan Rourke made more money playing in the NFL this season than anyone playing in the CFL, despite not taking a single snap. Rourke made more than US $500,000 for his efforts this year per Spot Track, which is a website that tracks pro athlete salaries. Across the NFL season, Rourke was paid from the Patriots $125,000 and from the Jaguars $394,667, all figures US. So that combines to a total of $519,668. The highest paid CFL player at the start of the 2023 season was Zach Collaros at $600,000. Chad Kelly of the Toronto Argonauts later would sign a 3-year, $1.865 million deal with Toronto. That still factors out to $465,000 US per season. So Nathan Rourke never took a snap all year in the NFL regular season, made more money than anybody in the CFL. And I know I put that on Twitter, and while nobody said it, I can feel it because I'm an empath. People are mad, CFL backers, that I would put that out there. One guy did say, Ron from Pigeon Lake, Alberta, wrote me and said, what's your point? Don't make me say it. The point is, why would anybody debate where he should be, where the smart place is for him? Now, we put that on our Facebook page, and why I say this is going to get spicy, I'm calling this up. I'm not ignoring you, Moose. One guy wrote in here. It's got people hot and bothered, as you can imagine. Well, we got so many comments coming in here, I can't even find it now. Oh, nonsense of analysis, the guy says. I'm sure Nathan didn't become a quarterback just to collect a paycheck. The guy has talent, and I've seen it firsthand. Hope he gets a fair opportunity to be a starter in the NFL, but if he doesn't, the CFL will await his return. To sit there and say collect the money is ridiculous. Over to you.
We don't know what his goals and objectives are. Nobody knows what somebody else is thinking and what their goals are. But I think your actions should reflect what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish. And for some of us, it's money. For other of us, it's, could be fame. It could be a lot of things. I think for Nathan, it's probably, yes, to play the game at the highest level possible, make money while doing it. And this is his best chance to play in the National Football League. There's not going to be windows opening every time he decides he wants to come back. If he doesn't get to be a starter, he'll go back to the CFL, play until somebody magically offers him a starting quarterback job. Look what happened to Mike Riley and Bo Levi Mitchell. They never got jobs when they went down there. Your window is only open at certain times. He's in the window. He's on rosters. He got claimed off waivers because he was a commodity that was wanted. And He's got to see that through. So forget about that. And he's making money to boot. So he's checking a lot of boxes.
Death, taxes, and what Nathan Rourke should do with his life. Things you can count on that people want to talk about. And this is funny. Aaron writes in on Facebook and says, well, if money's your objective, then maybe. I'm sorry. I've got a lot of mentors in life, and I would say 98% of them are good. And one of them by the name of Bruce, who I've never told you about this, but he said, because I get out of bed every day to make money. Yeah, you can help people, but there's nothing wrong with making money at it either. That's what we do. It's what makes the world go round. And I didn't even tell you this because we haven't talked a lot lately, but I had a lady write me, Andy. She's been a friend of mine for a very long time, since the Prince Albert days. And she goes, what you are doing with your life right now, you should have been doing 20 years ago. And I'm like, thank you. Somebody gets it. But it was fun toiling around in junior hockey in the CFL for decades. It was fun. But there wasn't a lot of money there. But it was fun. But the whole goal was to get here. So obviously a couple of years ago, I said, screw it, I'm doing it. And here I am, hobnobbing with the NHL people, hosting an NHL show, and Bob's your uncle. Life's great. I should have been doing it 20 years ago. That's the point. Nathan Rourke could hobnob in the NFL, make a lot of money doing it, or go back to the CFL and do okay. You make a great point about nothing's guaranteed there either. Henry Burris came back from the NFL with us in 2004 with the CFL Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he couldn't even start. They put Nealon Green in there because management was mad Henry left in the first place. Who's to say, every CFL team's got their number one guy entrenched right now, I think. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a really good point, too. There's no guarantees there, and he's got guarantees in the NFL. It's in his bank account.
Well, let me slam it home, too. If the NFL was paying him less money to be on a practice roster and be a backup quarterback, and he could make more money playing in the CFL, he'd still be in the NFL. Because that's where he wants to go. He wants to take a shot to see if he can be an NFL quarterback. It's a bonus. He's making more money too. So he's where he needs to be. And when it's no longer where he needs to be, he'll come back.
Jeff the Stamps fan, here's a good one. Good guy, that Jeff the Stamps fan. He says, but does money bring happiness and fulfillment? I can tell you that yes, it does.
How about that?
Anybody who said money doesn't make you happy, they didn't have it. Whoever made that saying up, they didn't have money. They didn't know any better. What did David Lee Roth say? I just read this the other day. Money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a boat to pull up beside happiness and just hang out for a while. How about that?
How about that?
Kevin the Medium writes in and says, good morning, RP peeps. He says, what a game last night. Canucks just keep winning. 99% chance of making the playoffs now. Let's go. Well, you're a little late. We talked about it right off the top. But thank you for showing up. I appreciate that, Kev. We did talk about that. And we're not officially at the halfway mark of the NHL season yet. Very close. But we could talk about who's going to win Coach of the Year. It'll be Rick Tocchet. Who's going to win Rookie of the Year? It'll be Connor Bedard. Kucherov's leading in the Art Ross, right, for the points. Can we just hand them out now? We got a whole half a season to play. Pretty sure Bedard ain't going to tank it. Canucks might. Cooch might. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Which of the awards could be handed out right now?
Yeah, Rick Bowness might have something to say about Coach of the Year, but no, I think you're okay with that. I would go on a limb, and I would at least say it'll be one of those two. Give Bedard Rookie of the Year. Kucherov's on quite a tear too. Probably wrap up the Art Ross before February. So you could probably hand out a few of these awards. That's for sure.
Kevin the Medium says, by the way, he was busy. Dang it. Some people got to work. John Ohm says, what's Bedard's current injury situation? He has a broken jaw, and he's out, it looks like, for a month. He's going to miss his homecoming game in Vancouver. He's going to miss the All-Star game. Doesn't that just suck? But as I say, that was God's way of slowing him down. Ryan in Saratoga, New York writes in and says, "Good day, Rod Squad. I voted none in the viewer poll. The poll is which AFC game will end in an upset this weekend." And he's saying none. I'm saying none as well. He says, because I think the Buccaneers could upset the Eagles, which is interesting. We'll spend more time on this next hour. We got a lot to get to. Again, I feel like we've hardly got to anything. But there are favored teams on the road, at least two. Cleveland's favored by, I think, 2.5 going into Houston. And the Eagles, I'm pretty sure, will be favored going into Tampa on Monday night, but I haven't looked at the NFC games yet. I got it right here. Yeah, Eagles favored by 3 in Tampa. So it's a fun time of the year where division winners have worse records than their opponents in 2 cases in the NFL this weekend. Moose, I'll see you in hour 2. We'll pick it up back then.
Sounds good.
We're going to Moose Jaw next. We'll be right back live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact The Rod Pedersen Show today.
The RP Show continues, everybody, and our hockey coverage is brought to you daily in part by Common Crown Brewing out of Calgary, a commitment to connection and celebration of uniqueness. Check them out at commoncrown.ca. All right, we don't get this guy on enough, but when there's big news, we will. The general manager of the Moose Jaw Warriors, Jason Ripplinger, joins us from the Band City, as they say. And it was last week, Ripper, that you guys pulled off the blockbuster trade with the Wenatchee Wild acquiring Matthew Savoy. It still got everybody talking and gave up a lot to get him. What's life like since that trade? He hasn't played for you guys yet, right?
No, he'll be this weekend. That's he's in Wenatchee right now. He had to travel back here to Moose Jaw, but yes, it's kind of settled down here now a little bit. But there's been quite a bit of hype around Moose Jaw.
Get out of Moose Jaw, Rip. There's hype all across Western Canada about this, talking about this trade. Even my phone's blowing up here. People are just saying you and the Broncos gave up a lot to get your players from Wenatchee. Connor Geekie to Swift and you guys with Matthew Savoy. I'm sure you've told everybody, but you haven't told me what were the reasons for how this trade went down and why.
Well, Bliss and I started talking before Christmas, and it was a deal where I said I would only give up draft picks. I wasn't going to do any bodies. I wanted to keep my team intact for next year and not give up any prospects. And we were able to make up a deal. And it was a lot of draft picks, but there's always a way to get those picks back in the future.
Is that the plan? Because I've been talking with the hockey people, and so the plans to get those picks back, or are picks not as valuable as they used to be because players are less of a sure thing than they used to be? Is that a thing?
No. Yeah, no, I think the picks are really valuable for us, and me being a head scout forever, you need those picks to make your franchise go. So there's always a way to get some picks back, but we'll worry about that next year.
Fair. Now, the other thing, I'm just throwing at you what I'm hearing. You can knock it out of the park or foul it off if you want, but people are saying that the Warriors haven't had a team this good for a very long time and may never again, and that's why you wanted to augment it. Is there a little to that?
Well, I think our team in 2017 was pretty good too. It just happened to be that the Swift Current was real good, and Regina was hosting the Memorial Cup that year, so they stacked up. And this year, to be honest, with us, we got some special players here, and when you do have these players and you have an opportunity, and we've been able to get picks throughout the last few years to help us make a deal like this. We just sat down as a group and decided, we want to go for it. Will it happen again? I mean, it's always the goal is to always try to win and try to be successful. But in junior hockey, we all know there's cycles. But moving forward, we just thought this is the right time to do it and see what happens.
Well, it's mentioned you talk about that team in 2017 or 2018. Either way, you've been around championship teams. You won a championship with the Giants. Where does this team rate with teams you've been with or seen? Because you got some extreme top-end talent. I don't need to tell you what your roster is all about. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, this is probably out of all the teams I've been involved with, I think this is a team that probably with the most skill. I think this team can, not that we want to, but I think there's games where we could win 8-6. So I mean, moving forward as teams in the past, I just feel that we're just more explosive from the teams I've had before in the past.
It's funny you say that. You lost 7-6 in Swift on the weekend. Were you at that game? I'm sure they were loving it in Swift Current. I had to check the score sheet to see if Savoy played, and you're saying that he didn't because I didn't see his name on the list there. But it's kind of fun that Moose Jaw and Swift are in it to win it. I'm sure that was a hell of an atmosphere the other night.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wasn't there. I was actually scouting the Victoria Pats game, but just listening to James Gell, he was getting pretty fired up, pretty excited when we made it. I think it was 6-4, and now it's 6-5, 6-6. So yeah, we are pretty explosive, and we didn't have those guys in our lineup either. So we have other guys here that can contribute.
You mentioned Victoria, so they're in your barn this tomorrow night, right? And then you got Vancouver on the weekend for what the Warriors are calling World Juniors Night, and the fans will be able to get the guys' autographs. Talk about your homestand this week and what you're hoping to see out of your team.
Well, for Wednesday, we'll have a couple of guys back from the World Juniors, so it'll bring some more excitement here. Obviously, we're open Saturday. Everybody will be in the lineup, and it's fine. It's finally get a chance to have our whole team back here, and then we can actually see where we're at.
And it's Vancouver there Saturday night?
Yeah, correct. The old team.
Right, and that's World Junior Night. Yeah, for everybody. So they'll be signing autographs on the concourse after the game. I just saw the tweet from the Moose Jaw Warriors account. Ripper, can you talk about the job done by Mark O'Leary, if you don't mind? Came in there after Tim Hunter, and I know the kids love him. And just obviously you do too. Could you talk about your coach and the job, not only that he's done, but what he's going to have to do here the rest of the way?
Yeah, no, for sure. Mark and I have a great relationship. We talk every day. He's done an excellent job with our team. He's developed guys. We were getting guys drafted, and his teams have been a little bit of a slow starting team. We've always kind of got better after the second half, but he's very committed, works hard, and I believe that he will guide this team into a long playoff run.
Well, the Warriors are a big deal in Moose Jaw. I'll just ask you this. What is the mood? What's the vibe? I'm sure that you can smile when you walk into the coffee shops and don't mind sitting down for a while. How fired up are Warriors fans in the Band City?
They're excited. Obviously, the ticket sales have gone up here a bit too. So, it's something that hasn't happened in Moose Jaw for a while. And in our 40 years, we've never won a championship. They've been to the league final once, and hopefully this is the year that we get to the league championship, and hopefully we can win.
I guess I should ask you this: are you set? The trade deadline's tomorrow. Do you have everything you need, or should we keep our ear to the ground for any other pieces for your team?
Yeah, I think the trade deadline's 4:00 Saskatchewan time. We'll see. I'm still listening, talking to other GMs, seeing what's going out there. But if this is our team now, I'm totally satisfied.
Sounds good. Well, good job. Keep it going. I appreciate the time today, Rip, and good luck. We'll be seeing you this spring.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
The general manager of the Moose Jaw Warriors, Jason Ripplinger. When we come back, we'll get into a sports update and all of your questions and comments. We've triggered quite a few today, which is always our goal. We'll be right back live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. athletics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Something about this show, it just flies by, don't it? And we've got breaking news here before we jump into audience takeover. Mike Vrabel is out as head coach of the Tennessee Titans, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. The Titans finished the season at 6-11, missing the playoffs for a second consecutive season. He finishes his tenure with a mark of 54-45 over 6 seasons and was named Coach of the Year as recently as 2022. A native of Akron, Ohio, the 48-year-old Vrabel was a linebacker in his playing days and spent 14 seasons in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots, and Kansas City Chiefs. Sports Update brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca, and also brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. When an ancient power is unleashed, Aquaman must forge an uneasy alliance with an unlikely ally to protect Atlantis and the world from irreversible devastation. Starring Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Dolph Lundgren, and Nicole Kidman. In Landmark Cinemas now, Aquaman. Said we got the discussion going. We sure did. 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us on the Sober Carpenter text line. Regarding Bedard being out for 6 to 8 weeks, somebody has written in and informed us. Brian in Hudson Bay writes in and says, according to Craig Button, with Bedard out, that will open up other rookies to get into the rookie if the tear running. Please proofread your text before sending them to me, or I guess I could read them before I go for verbatim, before I Rod Oggett. From Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba. Hi, Rod and Moose. CFL career could be longer than a practice roster career. The way to be a starter is to play. That's regarding my assertion that he's in the right place. Nathan Rourke in the NFL, where he made 500 and some thousand US versus what he could have made in Canada. Take the money. I'm surprised somebody of your wisdom, Wilf and Steinbach, would not agree with the phrase, take the money. That's what I think. Wayne in Victoria, BC, regarding the Vancouver Canucks. He says, hey, Rod, I'm now a believer of the Canucks. Earlier in the year, I was expecting them to revert back to the losers they were last year. That's funny. Well, that's the one thing that I enjoy live, watching teams, and I can make my own assumption. I don't need to watch SportsCenter for it. And I can see what Rick Tocchet's done because I watched them play under Travis Green. I watched them play under Bruce Boudreau. And when they faced adversity and things went wrong, bad goal called back, bad penalty, guy gets hurt, they quit. They just quit. And they're not doing that under Rick Tocchet. That was like in October. There's a lot of other things that they've improved since then. They're just a different team. That's why I say about Nathan Rourke. Again, it's our lives. I should have moved to an NHL city 20 years ago. I guess I probably couldn't have started a show 20 years ago like we've done. But that's what I've been doing. Knocked around junior hockey in the CFL for a really long time, and that was great. But when you're up here in the NHL doing these shows, going to NFL games, that's probably where I should have been, but that's me. That's me. There's a lot of guys that are still doing the junior hockey and the CFL thing, too. That's them. I guess the fundamental point of all of this is let Nathan Rourke do what he wants. My suggestion is to take the money. Regarding, is Andy Reid lying by saying Travis Kelce pulled himself from the game? That didn't play at all. He was inactive for the Chiefs' last game of the year. I don't believe it. And the people here at the gym where Travis Kelce works out in the offseason and is trained, they don't believe it either. That Travis Kelce would pull himself from the game 16 yards shy of 1,000. Darren says he believes the coach. Jim Wagner's watching in Balgoni and says, Moose, maybe you're a sucker? You are a Leafs fan. Enough said. That's from Jim, not me. In Balgoni. Kirk in Toronto writes in it last minute of play in hour one. He says, hi, Rod. Kirk from Toronto here. Nathan Rourke needs to play. If it's not in the NFL, then he needs to come back to the CFL and have a great Hall of Fame career. Says you. I think if Nathan Rourke wanted to come back, he would have come back. John Holmes said it here earlier. He will exhaust every NFL opportunity before coming back because you can make $500,000 US not even taking a snap. Take the money. Johnny in Winnipeg writes it and says, what about Hughes? Contender. What about him? Who are we talking about? Quinn Hughes, Luke Hughes, Charleston Hughes, Bob Hughes? Which Hughes? Who are we talking about? We'll straighten this out after this brief pause on TV and WQEE Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Who would you pick of these 4 coaches to coach your team? Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, Bill Belichick, or Jim Harbaugh? My vote's Harbaugh, but we talked about this last week. He seems to be relating real well to the younger players at Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's Harbaugh for me in a runaway. But I think, each one of them has some advantages.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside. Get comfortable. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show. We are coming at you live on Game Plus Television. We're on the radio in Atlanta, where Ryan, I can tell, is just listening with bated breath. Ryan O'Radio down there. He runs the station. And he's the morning man. The Radio Penitentiary on WQEE Radio, Atlanta. It's way more fun than it sounds going to the penitentiary. Yeah. And we're also streaming, of course. Moose is with us. He's in Toronto, where they're shutting down the schools because there's a sniff of wind. Has that changed, Moose, or is the school still out in Toronto area today?
No. And I'm messaging with all my Sask peeps that are laughing. But then my Toronto friends are like, oh, it's cold out there, and it's really icy, and you got to be careful. And I get it. You do. And, it's not. We're not living in Saskatchewan. We're in Toronto, so I get, they don't experience the same thing. So I don't want to judge the people here.
Yeah, you see, we've got a lot of topics on the table here today. As always, that's what makes it fun. And okay. Everybody, just calm down for a second. I love that everybody's around excitement of what we're talking about today. Let me just go back. What have we talked about? Cutter Gauthier basically forced a trade. The guy that led Team USA to the gold medal in the World Juniors this year, refusing to even answer a call of the Philadelphia Flyers or meet with them during the World Junior tournament. They've traded him to Anaheim for Jamie Drysdale, who's a hell of a player, and he was a star for Team Canada just a few years ago. My thing is, why is this such a big deal? But again, I surf social media in the break, and I see Ray Ferraro and Darren Dreger talking about it on their podcast. What is it, Razor and Dregs? Dregs and Razor? Whatever it is. And they're like, how do you not even return a call to the Flyer? Guys, is that because he didn't? That's the way they are now. So to sit and debate it, why? Waste your time. That's why I think I'm very lucky to work in the recovery business, because what do we say? It is what it is. Let it go. Let it flow. We didn't want to be with you. Bye. Which is kind of what Torts is saying, right? So we talked about that. We talked about last night's NHL games. We'll be talking about tonight's NHL games in a moment with our Bet Regal breakaway bets. By the way, have you told Bet Regal that we're doing this, or do they need to discover it on their own? That we're nightly picking NHL winners for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. Do they know?
Good question. I think they've watched and have found it. But this is as organic of a segment as you can get. Because I think you just one day you were like, let's go through the games. And then, you know what, I'm going to bring we'll pick winners. And it just happened organically, and it's turned into a wonderful, wonderful segment.
Right. So every game day, we pick the winners in the NHL for the games that night. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's great for the NHL, pointing out who their games are. By the way, Jason Ripplinger was with us last hour. Jason Ripplinger, the general manager of the Moose Jaw Warriors. Very exciting times in the dub. The Moose Jaw Warriors, the Swift Current Broncos, the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and Saskatoon Blades have all made huge deals on the east side, creating quite an arms race. And we talked to Jay Ripp about that. And our poll question today, might as well put it out there right now. And it kind of ties into the point that I'm getting at. Believe it or not, I'm going to get to a point here. But our poll question is brought to you by Key Auto Group. It is daily. At the Key Auto Group, you can buy with confidence knowing that they provide reports on all vehicles they sell. Get fully informed about your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. The poll question is, which AFC wildcard playoff game this weekend do you think will end in an upset? And your options are Cleveland at Houston, Miami at Kansas City, Pittsburgh at Buffalo, or what I voted, none. I don't think any of them are going to end in upsets. I think the favorites will win in every case, and that would be, well, maybe I'm going to change my vote the more I think about it. Based on what I voted, if there are no upsets, then the Cleveland would win at Houston, Kansas City would win at home over Miami, and the Buffalo Bills would beat the Steelers. Darren has picked the Dolphins to go into Kansas City and upset the Chiefs, and I feel like it's only Tuesday. We got all week to talk about this stuff, and that's what's great about it. And we haven't even got to the NFC games, which interestingly enough, Jen from the Four Seasons, she's like, the upset will be Green Bay at Dallas. And I thought about that for a second, and I'm like, yeah, but you're a Packers fan, so you're betting with your heart, not your head. And I'll stay away from that game for picks because I'm a Cowboys fan, and when I saw the draw, and I'm like, oh, we got Green Bay, that should be a dub, as Bo Levi would say. I don't know. Can't get cocky. But I'm going to land the plane, Darren, and ask you this. You asked how my weekend was, and I forgot to tell you. This was yesterday you asked me. Our good friend Ethan and his wife Christy, she's a coach, like Serena, they had a pizza night. And they brought in a guy from a pizzeria. Camilo is his name. He makes the pizza pies. And he made it in the giant green egg oven. And they were amazing. And one of the kids that was there, his name's Camden. And I'm no dummy. I said, were your parents baseball fans? He said, as a matter of fact, they were. And my name came down to either Camden or Fenway. And I said, well, they picked the right one. I like Camden. So as we were sitting there, a sponsor of my Panthers show texted me, and he goes, who's going to win this game, Ravens or Steelers? So I read it aloud. That game was on that night, and the guy wanted the betting advice now. And Camden, now this seems very elementary, but to a dummy like me, it's not that elementary. Camden's like, well, it's easy to pick the winner or who should be favored. It's who needs it most. The Steelers need to win to get into the playoffs. The Ravens are resting guys that don't need to win, so that's why they're favored. And that's why the Steelers will win. And they went on to win. I'm like, Camden, you are a wizard. And he's like, well, you got the Rams and the 49ers. Yeah, and he brought up the 49ers, which I think, did the Rams not end up beating San Francisco? But he goes, as far as the odds go, he goes, San Francisco, you got Brock Purdy playing for, he wants to be the MVP. Yeah, the Rams won it 21-20. But he goes, the 49ers have individual goals at stake and la-di-da-di-da. He goes, that's why they're favored. Now, that works great for the regular season. I don't think that plays into the playoffs because who's got more? They each have the same at stake. But do you go along with what he said about regular season games?
Especially late in the year. It was a great indication of that game. It's a little indication, though, of how good Baltimore is resting everybody and still able to stay close with a playoff team. But you're right. He's right. Pittsburgh needed that game more and got a great coach. They have good players, and they won the game. So hard to argue with the logic for sure.
So, again, in late season games when you don't know who to pick, there would be a reason why. But again, in the playoffs, I think the best team should win, and that's what's terrible about the football, because in best of 7 series in hockey, which is my jam, you know the best team should always win. But in football, it's any given Sunday, and that makes it real tough.
Yeah.
I'm just going to check in with the viewers here. It's funny. Terry from Calgary, Terry the lawyer, writes in and he says, I'm just curious as to why Gauthier is so against Philly. He goes, we're used to that here in Calgary. Well, if you've been following the coverage, and Terry, what you're seeing is probably a little different than what I'm seeing on the NHL Network, but they showed clips and interviews with Daniel Briere and Keith Jones and now Tortorella. They're saying at the draft, the kid was all about coming to Philadelphia, and now he won't even return their calls. So something might have happened. I said last hour that in the case of Lindros, the urban legend in hockey, which has been for decades, is that somebody with the Quebec Nordiques said something in a meeting that offended Lindros. That's all I'll say. The hockey people watching will know exactly what I'm talking about, but I didn't out anybody. Maybe somebody said something. Maybe somebody did something. I don't know. It has not come out why Cutter Gauthier doesn't want to go to Philadelphia, but he would not even speak to them about signing a contract. So I guess that's my point is, in the recovery world, we call it accepting life on life's terms. Just go with it. They got a hell of a player in Jay Drysdale, plus it's a second-round pick, is it not, in 2025? So things happen. Deal with life on life's terms. Dan in Winnipeg writes that he says, Rod, can the Jets make it to the second round of the playoffs? You know that they can, Dan. You're asking questions that you probably know the answers to. They're the number one team in the NHL. As we sit here today, there's no reason why they wouldn't make it to the Stanley Cup final. Right, Darren? Of course they can make it to the second round.
I know. And we can guess all we want about where teams are going to go, but again, you say take life on life's terms. I mean, this isn't the same, but, back to one day at a time. We're only here. We're not, any further down the road than we are. All you can do is take it one day at a time and one game at a time, period.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's fans. That's not just Winnipeg fans. That's just fans.
Yeah.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, has some good comments for a change. He says, here's one for those in the know. If I don't have Peacock, can I still see the Chiefs-Dolphins game? I thought the same thing. I saw the graphic come out from the NFL on some social media platform, and I'm like, dope! Although I'm pretty sure we have Peacock, I don't even know if it's even available in Canada. Between TSN and Sportsnet, they pretty much have it all covered, do they not? I mean, I guess I could look it up right now.
No, TSN has the rights to distribute the NFL in Canada through Bell, through CTV and TSN. Sportsnet doesn't. And we don't get Peacock in Canada. It's not a streaming service that we have access to. Just like when the Amazon Prime games are on Thursday nights, we don't have access to that American Prime. Our Canadian Prime is different, just like Canadian Netflix is different. So even though Prime distributes the game, TSN still gets to distribute it in Canada. So they take the Prime feed and distribute it. It'll be the same thing on the weekend. We'll get the Peacock feed distributed through TSN or CTV or wherever you normally get the game.
Yeah, the Score app doesn't even, all it says is Peacock, so it doesn't say what's available in Canada. Maybe they don't know as we sit here today, but like you, it'll be on something. Michael Gregory checking in from New Orleans. He says, Fins up, AB. He's a Saints fan. Sorry about your luck, Michael. But I guess I did turn the radio on this morning when I was driving to the gym, but it's only a minute and a half away, so I didn't listen for too long. Guess what they were talking about? The Dolphins. Regarding the baseball player kid that I was with. Did I tell you I said he was named after Camden Yards, but he was a grade 12 senior star baseball player. And he's going to be going away on scholarship. Camden. We really hit it off fast. Good kid. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says they should have named him Roger. Rogers Center. That right, Moose?
Yeah, no. Camden, way cooler.
The joke I made was better than naming you Lone Depot.
How about that?
That's where the Marlins play. Lone Depot Park. Yeah, they all got it. Nobody laughed. John says Stanley Cup Finals. Music to my ears, bro. I'm sorry we even brought it up. It's just, you never, ever, I don't even know why I try. You're never, ever, ever going to change fans. I will never forget driving down Glenmore Trail in Calgary, and my God, I tried going back, but listening to the sports talk radio, and one of the hosts said, this was 2 years ago, before Kachuk was still there. He goes, who is Gary Bettman going to hand the Stanley Cup out to when we win? We don't even have a captain. It was one of those, you're driving along and you stare at the radio moments, right? What? What did you just say? That is such a, I'm sorry, that is just a Calgary thing. And it's like here on the radio. So I stopped listening to the local radio. They were whining, just bitching, long about late October. Why Dak Prescott's getting all the pub in the national media. Why aren't they talking about Tua? Let's see who's playing longer. Who threw the game-killing interceptions on Sunday night? I think it was Tua. You know what I mean? They're never going to change, Darren. That's kind of why I've stopped listening, to be honest. This stuff is not important now. You understand that, right?
Yeah, it's not. But we always want to have something to talk about and speculate on, and you know that is what Coffee Row is all about. We're not going to change them. So either I'm not going to pay attention. Let them listen to it and talk about it. But we got to look further. Enjoy
the journey. Enjoy the flippin' journey. And I'll be honest, I really enjoy. There's something about Harbaugh that I really like. I've never met him. Maybe one day I will. But did you see his post-game news conference last night where the media was up in his face about, what's next, Jim? What's next? You going to be in the NFL? And Jim Harbaugh, who had just won the national championship with the Michigan Wolverines, goes, why does it always have to be about what's next? And what he said after that, I don't really remember because my mind started going. I'm like, yes, thank you for saying it. Can he at least enjoy the night that they just won the national championship, their first since 1997? And he accomplished this goal that he set out to do 9 years ago. What's next? What's next? Back off. Jeez. I don't know if anybody heard it, but I heard it, Jim. I heard it. We'll be right back. We'll be playing NHL breakaway bets for Bet Regal, and we got Nolan Thiessen coming up, the CEO of Curling Canada as well. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Happy New Year, hockey fans. Welcome to the SJHL Report. I'm Darren DuPont. Plenty of headlines. Justin Lees continues to tear up the SJHL. Now 53 points, just 32 games to lead the league. How about the Battlefords? 8-0-2 in their last 10. And Melfort rolling 9-0-1 in their last 10 games. They fell to L'Orange on Friday night, but on Saturday, big upset over the Flin Flon Bombers. Just the Bombers' second loss in regulation all year. So here's the standings as we sit here early in the new year. There's the Mustangs in third, thanks to that big stretch of 10 games where they've won 9 of 10. Estevan out of the playoffs right now. They've dropped 4 in a row. Big games this week, including the Tuesday game, Melville and Weyburn early in the week. But Nipawins at Flin Flon Friday, Notre Dame at Battlefords on Saturday. Notre Dame needing a W to keep their playoff hopes alive against the North Star. That's your SJHL report for this week. I'm Darren DuPont.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The RP Show continues on this Tuesday. Welcome aboard. Choo-choo. Hey, Canada's top men's curling teams are thick into the season, and their eyes are firmly focused on a trip to Regina in late February for the 2024 Montana's Brier, presented by AGI. And clearly the Saskatchewan curling fans are on the same thing, as they've been buying tickets for the Canadian Men's Curling Championship at a very rapid pace. Single draw tickets range in price from $24 to $70, depending on the draw and seat. Youth tickets are $9.99 for all draws. Curling Canada is committed to providing affordable options so the entire family can enjoy this world-class event. Watch for more family-friendly promotions in the weeks ahead, leading up to the Montana's Brier. Moose joins us. Next segment, Nolan Thiessen will be with us from Curling Canada to talk about that and other things. Great comments coming in from our audience. There always are. We're talking about literally everything here today that is of interest to us. Do we have Moose? Do we not have Moose? Am I live? Hello? Hi.
I'm here.
Regarding the Calgary radio announcer that said, who are they going to hand the cup to when the Flames win the Stanley Cup? We don't have a captain. Wayne in BC writes in, he says, talk about counting your chickens before they're hatched. That announcer should have been fired. If you fire everybody who says something stupid on the air, we wouldn't have any announcers left. And that wouldn't be great, would it? regarding my urban legend that Eric Lindros refused to play for the Quebec Nordiques because somebody with the Nordiques said something offensive. Colin in Ottawa writes, and he says, Lindros said that the Nordiques owner had a very shady past. I wonder why he didn't have to hand back his Order of Canada when he resigned as Canadian Olympic Committee president in 2015. I have no idea what that story is about, what I just read. Do you?
No, I don't. Not sure that I'm going to look into it either.
Nah, me either. John Schmeiser in Kansas City regarding this weekend's NFL playoff game. He says, plus 12 degrees Celsius forecast in Kansas City this Saturday night. Weather shouldn't be a factor. Obviously, the Tyreek angle is getting lots of play. I'll be reading that in my sports update. Some of the juicy storylines. Oh, man. The NFL, without even trying, they fall backwards into rose petals, don't they? Tyreek Hill returns to Kansas City with the Dolphins. The Lions-Rams matchup's probably even better. The two teams swapping quarterbacks a couple years ago, Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff. It worked out for the Rams, who went on to win a Super Bowl, but now it's working out for the Lions, who have won the NFC North for the first time in 20 years, 30 years. Yeah, that's one. And then the other one's Mike McCarthy with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Green Bay Packers, his former team. What am I missing any?
Cleveland and Houston, it's not as juicy, but it would have been if Deshaun Watson would have been playing and healthy for Cleveland as they go to play Houston, Deshaun's former team. So that's a big one. And yeah, I think that Detroit LA storyline is by far the best, because here's what's going to happen. The Rams are hot. They're coming in hot. And here's Detroit, best season ever, best chance at a Super Bowl that we can remember. And Matthew Stafford's probably going to crush them in round one and ruin their hopes and dreams. And he was their quarterback not that long ago.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for those that wonder why we would be talking about Eric Lindros, although I think unless you've been living under a rock, you would know why everybody is talking about that story right now. Cutter Gauthier, Team USA star at the World Juniors this year, refusing to not only not sign with Philadelphia, he won't even return their calls, the Philadelphia Flyers. So they traded him to Anaheim for Jamie Drysdale and a high draft pick. And it's bringing up, I do love this, that the irony that Philadelphia is involved so many years, decades later, when they got Lindros, who refused to go to Quebec back in the day. And then again, you and Clark were in diapers at that time. What were you, 5? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was pulling up to the bank today, listening to Oceanfront Property by George Strait. And I was, in my mind, I'm like, this song is almost 40 years old. I remember buying the cassette. And the second that I started playing it, I just, this warm feeling came over me. Oh, God, I love George Strait. Been in his fan club since I was 12. Oh, the other topic that we were talking about is Nathan Rourke. Made more money this year not taking a single snap in the regular season for the NFL, Jaguars and Patriots. Made more money not playing in the NFL than every player in the CFL. And we've posted to our social media my phrase that, take the money, kid, take the money. I just can't believe anybody would be saying otherwise. Just, he's decided to take the money. This Aaron writes in on Facebook, Aaron Thiessen, and says, if money is your objective, maybe. And viewer Craig in Calgary writes in and says, it's everyone's objective. I don't know. I mean, I clearly get triggered by the narrow-mindedness of a lot of these CFL diehards that just can't see any other way. And I've got such a history in my life with people close to me who can't see any other way. Forget about refusing to acknowledge the truth. That's a whole other thing. But to even consider another option, they won't do it. So I get triggered by that. And I don't want to hear it. I mean, do you think these CFL fans that think he should come back to Canada are being unreasonable like I do? Or am I just triggered and got to go to more therapy?
They are being unreasonable, but I expect them to be unreasonable. They're fans. Fans are always unreasonable. I'm unreasonable about my teams, but I also know that I'm being unreasonable. That's part of what being a fan is kind of about. But at the same time, look, if money's your objective, you'll stay in the NFL. Great. And if money's not your objective and your objective is to play football at the highest level and chase your dreams, you'll also stay in the NFL. And that's what Nathan's doing, whether it's to play at the highest level and chase your dreams, or whether his goal is to bank as much money as possible. Both answers are to stay where you are in the NFL. Nathan's doing the right thing. There is no argument other than, you want to play in games. Well, great. Go play in the rec league if you want to play in games. That's your only objective. He wants to play at the highest level and make money. They go hand in hand.
See those NFL jets that the teams fly on compared to the CFL ones? It's not even close. I mean, the gap has widened. I've had so many, obviously, I worked in the CFL for 20 years, so a lot of friends that have played in both leagues. And for a lot of years, John Ryan, Matt Dominguez, Ricky Ray, obviously, they all said the only difference between the two leagues is money. At that time, probably that was the case. It's a lot bigger difference. You can't even get the stats to work, for God's sakes. So there's one difference. Speaking of being triggered. Oh, putting a bow on this.
I was going to say, where's that good mood from Monday? Where's the good mood from Monday, Rob?
It's only Tuesday. It's gone.
How about that?
I put my opinions out there, and when people don't agree, I get pissed off. Regarding the Lindros thing, and if this is not, Jen should be leading the group therapy session here today, because Jen writes in and says that was the best thing that happened to Quebec. They went on to win the Stanley Cup the next year, as I believe as the Avalanche. It was, I believe, a few years later, but I get the point. Probably 4 or 5 years later. But it was still the best thing that ever happened, because the trade got them Peter Forsberg and an avalanche of guys. It was the best thing. So that's the thing. When you do go through these types of things in life, they do end up working out better. Just at the time, it's hard to see. From Allie in Texas, she says, King George. Oh, tell me about it. I went from Oceanfront Property to Playing Here for a Good Time by George Strait, and my mind went to the Silver Buckle Dance Hall in Dallas. Darren, we can't talk about that.
I want stories.
Oh, I got a million. I was still drinking then. Oh, boy. If you can believe and by the way, Allie, do you know what happens at the Silver Buckle Dance Hall? Yeah, I gave a lap dance there to one of the dancers, and the bouncers come running. I'm like, oh, boy. And all the guys that were with me are like, oh, God, here we go. He's going to get kicked out. The bouncers stopped and started throwing money on me. I'm like, what? They're like, we never seen this. 10 years working here. Nobody's ever done that. That's amazing. So I kept doing it. I know a lot of people would have a very tough time believing that ever happened. Well, there you go, John. John Ohm says, I want a Silver Buckle Straight. There are more. That's literally the only one. There's God's sign from God to stop talking about the Silver Buckle Dance Hall.
The Silver Buckle Dance Hall is wondering why their website hits are at an all-time high right now. Everybody wants to know what it's all about.
Couple of guys I ran into. I was hosting a sports trip on this. Police were involved on multiple occasions of this particular week. I was walking down a hallway at the Silver Buckle Dance Hall, and two guys were coming the other way that were on my trip, and they were running. I'm like, guys. They're like, can't stop, gotta go. I'm like, oh, great. What'd they do? You've ever had one of those nights? Oh, boy. Okay. Billy Bob is another story. Billy Bob's was another story for another time. That's the largest dance hall. It's like 13 acres under one roof, where they have live bull riding every weekend, Friday and Saturday. I said, oh, I said, oh, you mean like mechanical bulls? No, real bulls. Can't believe I lived to tell about it. Do we have Nolan Thiessen logged in? Okay. Moose, you got to come back to play breakaway bets for Bet Regal in the last segment, okay?
Okay. I'll come back.
Okay, because I am not going to keep the CEO of Curling Canada waiting any longer. We'll be right back with him, Nolan Thiessen, after this brief pause. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
RP Show continues as we talk winter sports from Paradise. We mentioned earlier, single draw tickets are on sale now for the Montana's Brier in Regina. Curling.ca/tickets, the place to go for those. We'll be talking with Nolan Thiessen about this. All youth tickets, $9.99 for all draws. They've really done it right. let's bring Nolan in, the brand new CEO of Curling Canada. I don't know if it's even been a week on the job. Congratulations on the posting, Nolan. How's life been since?
Busy. I think there's a lot of people have been reaching out. Obviously know a ton of people in the curling world. So, there's a lot of people that kind of just send out well wishes and have been kind of reaching out, just saying, hey, if you ever need anything from me or if I can support you in your initiatives, I'm here to help. So it's been good. It's been busy, but I was expecting that.
Well, make sure to take people up on those. And let me say congratulations, by the way. And dream job? I got to think that it is for a guy like you.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first stopped playing, I kind of talked to Catherine Henderson. I said, I want to learn the business of sport, right? I want to learn the business of curling. I want to give back. I want to make the game better. So she gave me those opportunities and opened those doors for me. And yeah, it's when she called me and said, hey, I'm taking the Hockey Canada job. I've been thinking about this kind of ever since and what it would look like. And so, yeah, really, really excited. And the responsibility of the job is not lost on me, obviously, with my background and what I've done in the sport. I know how big this job is.
Yeah, and we'll circle back around on that. You're the first guy I thought of when I saw the news about none of it pulling out of the Scotties. Like, talk about a hot potato in your lap. The news came out yesterday. When were you informed that they would not be sending a rep to the Scotties this year?
They let us know kind of just at the end of last week. We talked a little bit with our athlete council too, just to make sure kind of our thought process for how we would fill the field was sound. I think, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's that being said, they don't lose their place in it on an ongoing basis, right? Like, I think the representation that we have and kind of that specialness of the Scotties and the Brier and that inter-provincial territorial competition is really one of the things that makes the Brier and the Scotties so special. So, I mean, I think it's unfortunate. I think we need to sit down with them and have some discussions and figure out a path forward, so that they are sending teams to all of our events. I think all of our MAs and teams are have a place at the table at all of our events, and we want to make sure that everyone's sending someone to everything.
Absolutely. You're right. The national scope and breadth of these competitions, you want everybody there. Having said that, you know as well as I do, they have not been that competitive. So I think that would, forever, so I think it would be just on your to-do list to get curling rocking again up there. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, no, I mean, we want to have as competitive as events as possible. I think if you look at the competitions forever, there's always been, it's never been sort of a curling trials, so to speak, where every team is in the top 10 in the CTRS. I think we have more now. I think we're getting closer to, it seems like, having almost the top 7, 8, 9 teams on the CTRS that are at our championships. That being said, I mean, I was at a trials where I thought we were one of the teams that had a chance to win it, and we started off 0-5. So I guess you never know with some of these things. But yeah, I think growth of the sport, both at a grassroots level, but then as well as making sure that high performance podium pathway pipeline is full, is a big thing on my agenda, and a big thing on David Murdoch's agenda, our high performance director.
Two happier things, and that would be the Brier and Regina. You've already got some competitors filled in, and you probably know they love Matt Dunstone in Regina. They're not even from there, but they love him. So that's a good place to start for the 2024 Montana's Brier.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 teams that are already in there are 3 of our best teams in the country and 3 of the best teams in the world. So, I mean, yeah, everybody loves Matt. He's a Manitoba boy that represented Saskatchewan for a while. So I think, once you're a Saskatchewan boy, you are for life. So, I mean, he'll have a ton of support there. I know Team Botcher has old Benny Heaps on the team too, right? So he'll have his whole crew in attendance. You know, they'll be supporting his team. So there's some Saskatchewan flavor there. And then, you know, Mr. Gushu has went from being a Maritimes team to a cross Canada team. I think you saw it at the Grand Slam a couple weeks ago there, just before the holidays in Saskatoon. You know, Brad has an ovation and a following everywhere. So I think the three teams that are there are going to have a lot of support, and I think it's going to be an unbelievable week. You know, Regina always shows up at whenever we have a championship there. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, that's what's fun about this. You bring up Benny Heaps, who has never represented Saskatchewan in men's play, but he has since the juniors.
No. You are wrong. You're wrong.
What?
You're wrong. He represented.
Who was he with?
05 and 06 with Pat Simmons before he moved out.
Oh, okay. As a lead. Okay, I'm glad you clarified that, because he'd have been all over me, as you know. Yeah. But the drama continues. It's almost like NASCAR. That's as much fun of the curling wars, and gosh knows that's for off-season stuff, not what's going on right now. But this is the most exciting time of the year on the curling scene. Right now would be the time to buy tickets. You couldn't ask for a better field already, and it's just going to get better, right?
Yeah, no, and you know, it's funny those last couple of weeks, just when all the teams fill in. I love those weeks in the calendar when you're sitting there and you're online and you're finding a bunch of streams and you're watching all the playoff games and seeing who's going to be there and how the draw is going to shake out. You know, it ends up, you know, it's such a fun time of the year. I love the play downs, and I think the one thing, you know, we do some things a little bit differently, but you know, you saw it last year, even when a team like, you know, Kelly Knapp wins Saskatchewan, and I'm watching the interview after the game that, you know, when he wins the provincials, and, you know, he kind of got choked up a little bit, and he's like, this matters, right? Like I've always wanted to go to the Brier, and it's always super exciting to see the looks on everybody's faces when they kind of win their play downs.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, welcome back, everybody, for Overtime. Proudly brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. Have you checked it out yet? There's not a lot to do in southern Alberta when the temperatures are this frigid, other than play hockey. So head on over to Overtime Hockey Lanes. Tell them Rod sent you. Book your lane ahead of time. Maybe check out the Rod Pedersen Show lane. Randy and Michelle do a great job there. 28th Street Northeast is where you can find them. Overtime Hockey Lanes. Check them out on social media, too. Before we, well, number one, I apologize. Too bad we lost the line in our interview with Nolan Thiessen, but we certainly got to the point of it. Wonderful field at the Montana's Briar. Tickets on sale now at curling.ca/tickets. And the RP show is going to be there for it. It's going to be big fun. I knocked my breaking news bell on the floor, but I still have the John Ohm bell. Breaking news from the NFL. Mike Vrabel was lauded as one of the best head coaches in the NFL just a couple of years ago. But everything's temporary in the NFL. And a surprise, the Tennessee Titans reacted to a second straight losing season by firing Mike Vrabel today. The Titans started 2-4 before their bye and never were much of a factor in the playoff race after that. It was the rare season under Vrabel in which the Titans were irrelevant. And there's going to be huge changes in Tennessee this offseason. Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry are both free agents and both unlikely to return. And now the changes will include a new head coach. Meanwhile, the Bills and Cowboys are riding high after big Week 18 wins capped their regular seasons. The Dolphins and Eagles are reeling and stumbling down the stretch. With or without momentum, the NFL playoffs begin for 12 of the 14 postseason qualifiers during Wild Card Weekend this weekend. The games begin Saturday when the Texans host the Browns and the Chiefs host the Dolphins. Our poll question today. Actually, I'll get to that in a second. 6 teams are in the playoffs after missing out last year. Browns, Lions, Packers, Texans, Rams, and Steelers. At least 4 teams who failed to make the playoffs one season have reached the playoffs the next every year since 1990. Sports updates brought to you by Landmark Cinemas in theaters now. Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. When an ancient power is unleashed, Aquaman must forge an uneasy alliance with an unlikely ally to protect Atlantis and the world from irreversible devastation. Starring Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Dolph Lundgren, and Nicole Kidman. Aquaman in Landmark Cinemas now. And brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. From the streets. Jen at the Four Seasons says, enjoy the day, everyone. Thank you, Jen. Oh, yeah, Moose is here. Thanks, Moose. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate you. Now would be a good time to play our Bet Regal breakaway bets. Thanks. I'll get to that in a second. Just on the Nathan Rourke thing, Brett Taylor's watching in Calgary, and he says, on the Nathan Rourke discussion, I can't remember a season where there have been so many quarterbacks running through the carousel and getting a chance. All he needs is that chance. Somebody brought up Tom Brady. It's on our Facebook page, by the way. If you can't get enough of our show, and be honest, who can? For the 2 hours that we're on the air live every day, go to our social media pages, particularly Facebook. Look it up, The Rod Pedersen Show. We keep the discussion going there with the Rod Squad. And this Nathan Rourke thing is one, where should he play? Okay, Darren, this is fun.
Let's do it.
The Bet Regal breakaway bets, where Darren and I pick the games of the night in the National Hockey League. And lucky us, there are 10 tonight. Are you ready? I know you are.
Oh, yeah.
San Jose Sharks at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Who wins?
I'll pick the Leafs.
Of course you will. As will I. That's the easiest pick of the night. That's the easiest pick of the night. The Los Angeles Kings at the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I'll take the Kings on the road.
Okay. Rod's going to take the Lightning. First time I've ever referred to myself in third person, and I'm not sure why.
How about
that? These are straight up bets, by the way. No point spreads and no over-under. Just who's going to win the game.
Yeah. We call this the puck line. You didn't give me a new game.
I know that.
Oh.
Seattle at Buffalo. Seattle at... What are they... I think the Kraken have won like 8 in a row. Does that sound right?
Yeah, they're
franchise
rolling.
record.
They're rolling, but I'm going to take Buffalo at home to crash the party.
Okay, I am writing this down. This is going to be fun to come back the next day and see who won. Loser buys lunch. The Vancouver Canucks at the New York Islanders in a rematch of the what, everybody? 1982 Stanley Cup Final? Last night was a rematch of the 94 Stanley Cup Final. The Canucks exacted revenge last night. Will they tonight at the Islanders, Vancouver at New York? Who wins?
No, I'll take the Islanders in this one at home. I think there'll be a little letdown for Vancouver.
Ooh. The first one, second one we agree on. Bill Edwards checks in, the guy who gave me the Ron and Don bobbleheads over my shoulder. He says, I'm taking the Leafs tonight. Bill, you take the Leafs every night. But thanks for the breaking news. Anaheim at Nashville. Who wins?
I got the Ducks in that one.
Not me. I'll take Nashville at home. The Columbus Blue Jackets in Cole Sillinger at the Winnipeg Jets. This one could get ugly. But who do you think will win?
Give me the Jets by like 4 or 5.
Same here. The Florida Panthers at the St. Louis Blues tonight. I was searching for photos of the city of St. Louis and the arena, Darren, for my Panthers stuff that I do. There was a photo of an arena in St. Louis with 20,000 Catholic teenagers kneeling, praying at some convention. I was like, they're going to need it tonight in St. Louis. 20,000 of them praying together. They're going to need it. Panthers at Blues. Panthers have won 7 in a row. Who wins tonight?
Yeah, I'll take Florida to keep it rolling and save the prayer for another game.
×2. Nationally televised game across the U.S. and Canada. The Edmonton Oilers at the Chicago Blackhawks. Who do you think wins?
Oof, this might get ugly. I'll take the Oilers and be a rough night for Chicago.
Me too. Lightning will not strike twice again. I was a little surprised they beat the Flames the other night. They won't beat Edmonton. Flames are home tonight to the Ottawa Senators. The Senators have become the NHL's version of the Washington Generals as far as I'm concerned. Who wins, Sens or Flames?
They'll be looking at what Chicago did and be riding high, but I don't think the Flames let that happen twice. I think the Flames will win tonight.
Same here. And then it's the Boston Bruins at the Arizona Coyotes. I correctly predicted the Bruins would lose in Colorado only because the Avalanche would still be smarting from losing the game before 8-4 at home to Florida. This is a back-to-backer for the Bruins at the surprising Coyotes. Who do you think wins?
The Bruins will win. I think they'll be angry tonight, so I'll pick Boston.
Okay. Yeah, they're a very good hockey team. I'll go with the Bruins as well. Yeah, Bet Regal. Sign up, get playing for free. Join their club for free at betregal.ca. By the way, Dub tonight, Victoria at Brandon, Vancouver at PA, Tri-City at Swift Current, Spokane at Lethbridge. How about all those trades the Canes made? And in the NBA, the Raptors visit the Lakers tonight, and the Lakers suck. That's what I'm picking up. See, that's the thing with subliminal sports coverage. You get it pumped into your cranium. I just heard the other day the Lakers have lost 4 of their last 5. What did LeBron say? We suck. I think they've lost 9 of 10 since winning the in-season tournament. That's our NBA.
But they won, won the in-season tournament. Like, thought they were on top of the world. I thought that meant everything.
Herb in Melville writes in, I'm so far past what he's talking about here, I don't know, but I'll read it anyways. Herb writes in on the 902 line. He says, Jim was just happy he was able to sit at the adult table during holiday meals.
Jim Harbaugh said in his post-game, he's like, I can finally sit at the big table because Dad won a national title and my brother won a Super Bowl. Now I can sit at the big table.
Okay, I'm glad. Thank you for straightening that out. Natasha in Winnipeg says, afternoon all on Nathan Rourke. Let the kid develop in the NFL where he's making the cash to observe. He's not coming back until he's at least 30. He's doing the right thing indeed. Finally, Natasha in Winnipeg with some common sense. Moose. Oh, Trevor in Calgary says, will the Flames trade Markstrom? Yes or no, Moose? What do you say?
No.
Yeah, no. It's a no from us, dog. See you tomorrow, noon Eastern.
Who has more fun than us?